Hey guys, today we're making delicious donuts. Covered in chocolate, filled with cream on the inside, and...
Custard, not cream.
Oh. Hey guys, today we're making delicious gluten-free donuts with cream on the inside.
Custard.
Hey guys, today we're making delicious gluten-free donuts with custard on the inside, not cream, covered in a nice chocolate glaze. So stick around because you don't have anything else to do. We're all trapped inside.
I will say that the blog Let Them Eat Gluten-Free Cake, which I love, by the way, has totally convinced me that the right thing to do is to make your own flour blend and to use a KitchenAid mixer.
It's been night and day between Angela trying to make her own kind of like breads and like other flours or pastries and just like mixing everything by hand and kneading all the dough for hours, because I would never help do that, right? Getting the KitchenAid changes the texture completely. Like it really makes it actually taste like real bread now, of which I love, right? It's really hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, and I will say, like we always say, you can make anything you want as long as you make it yourself, and the KitchenAid has totally enabled that behavior because I would have never been able to tackle something like making gluten-free donuts without this. So in here, what do we got going on, Brett? We got some dough starting. So we made...
There's a lump of something in here. Oh, God.
Yeah, KitchenAid will take care of that. Don't worry about that. It's some brown sugar. If anybody has a tip for like making your brown sugar not turn into a lump of coal, let me know in the comments below. I would love to know that trick. I've heard freezing it, and then I tried that, and it just froze into a giant lump.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's a block of nothing. Yeah.
But in here we have a flour blend that I mixed up. So again, you can go to letthemeatglutenfreecake.com to check out all of her recipes. I recommend them all, but I mixed up a flour blend. It has expandex in it, which is a tapioca starch flour, but special somehow, and it makes a load of difference. So
hopefully not super GMO, we're not sure.
We don't recommend a lot of brands, but that is one specifically that we do recommend.
Yeah, it makes a really, really big difference.
We have some rice flour, some potato starch, some xanthan gum, and some pea protein isolate. Now, I find that the pea protein is really important because gluten is a protein. So if you take it out of your gluten-free baking, putting in that pea protein actually helps you get that consistency that you want to make people forget that they're eating gluten-free food, which is what we aim to do.
Right, and it's really amped our game up to 11 for sure.
Yeah.
Because we're not making like crackery food anymore that's like dry and brittle or like has a funky taste to it. We're making like actually real food that just happens to be gluten-free now, and it's really hard to make, tell the difference.
Yeah, my bread is like good enough that I'm ready to throw down for a competition. So hit me up if you want to do that. So I have my gluten-free flour blend in here. You can use like a store-bought gluten-free flour blend if you want to. I know that's easier for a lot of people. However, we do not guarantee results. And I say that because that is what the blog says. And she has been researching her flours for like 10 years, so I trust her. And then I just have some sugar and salt in here. So that's all of our dry goods. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna whip together some butter, some milk, and an egg yolk, and this also has our yeast in it. And we're just gonna go ahead and whisk that together. This is the hardest part. Once we do this, we put the KitchenAid on, we pour this mixture in, and we let the KitchenAid do the rest of the work for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and just whisk these together real quick. We typically use an active dry yeast. Some people use an instant yeast. If you use instant, put it in with your dry goods. If you do active, like us, go ahead and put it in with your liquid because you want it to bloom first.
Because like everything we do, we buy in bulk. So we bought yeast in like a giant, pouch.
We bought like 100 pounds of yeast, which now apparently it's sold out everywhere.
Oh, really?
Joke's on you. We got plenty. All right. So cut to the KitchenAid doing the rest of this for us.
Ta-da!
And presto. So this dough is like very sticky and stretchy, and that is exactly what they said it should do. And now, for the best part for an impatient person like me, you just scrape down the sides and then you let it rise for 90 minutes.
Oh, good.
So,
I did not sign up to make this take all day, but I think it's going to probably take all day.
We have nowhere to go. So we're going to go ahead and just cover this, let it rise, and while we're doing that, we're going to make our custard.
Oh, that's my favorite part. You Boston cream people, you can like go over there. I'm a custard kind of buy.
I think that's most people, but I think that's why we're so compatible, is we are both custard people. Brett, I have to tell you a little secret. I've never actually made custard before.
Ooh, me either. So
this will be
winging it.
process. So I hear this is kind of what you do. You heat the milk and the salt and sugar up in a saucepan. Then you mix the egg yolk and the sugar and the arrowroot together in a separate pan.
We didn't have cornstarch, so we just subbed it out for arrowroot, which we did have. So making do with what we got.
Yeah, it's quarantine time, guys. So we'll heat this up. I'll whisk this in another bowl. Then we pour half of the heated mixture into my bowl to like temper it, I think.
Yeah, you just don't want it to like cook, right?
Right.
You got an egg in here, so you don't want it to turn into scrambled eggs. So you just got to keep moving it around so it all blends together.
And then we move it back to the saucepan and we heat it up until custard.
Ta-da.
And then we add the butter and the vanilla at the end. Well, you know what they say about donut making? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah,
So
we're at like hour 4 now, I think. And we barely have dough.
but we have custard.
We do have custard.
We don't have fish fingers to go with it, but we have custard.
Looks great.
And we have dough that has risen for 90 minutes and then was in the fridge for an hour. So, but the power of editing, this is all happening lightning fast for you. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll out our dough. We're going to cut out some donuts and then they get to rise again.
All right, sweet. So I guess I'll be eating these for dessert tomorrow.
Breakfast tomorrow, yeah.
Breakfast donuts, all right.
So flour your, surface here. I'm just going ahead and using rice flour. You could use a blend, whatever. Rice flour is cheap, so I like to use it for this purpose. Oh yeah, look at that baby. Like
not sticky.
It's a little sticky. It's not bad, but okay, for gluten-free flour, it's stretchy.
You did something right.
We're doing pretty good.
Flatten it out to about how thick, do you think?
About half of an inch.
So pretty thick still. It's kind of chunky.
Well, it's your donut. You just cut rounds out. Which, Brett, you should be my guesser because I have no idea what half an inch is supposed to be. So is that about good?
Let's see. Let me get my expert cutter out that we have prepared special for this. Ta-da! It's a whiskey tumbler courtesy of Grand Traverse Distillery in Michigan. Delicious and not sponsored. So we're gonna just plot it out and see, can I fit 4 on here? 1, oh no.
All right, Brett, I think this is a little much to just make donut holes, so let's see if we can re-roll it and get 2 more, and we'll have a half dozen.
Half dozen, all right. Hopefully we have enough custard to go with that too.
Or we can fill it with jam. Have a punchki.
Punchki? I've never had a punchki.
I don't know how you grew up in Michigan and didn't have a punchki. And then, should we just make a few donut holes?
Yeah, fried dough never hurt anybody, right? Wow, this dough is actually really normal. It's not like gluten-free dough that wants to fall apart every 2 seconds. I'm able to roll it together.
Ask me how I know. And I rolled it out. We watch a lot of Julian
Solimati.
And he's fantastic, but he is scared of rolling pins and gluten-free flour because it's a challenge. But dude, put me in, coach. I don't know. I've mastered the art of gluten-free dough, and that's a big art to master.
Right? I don't know if I'd go that far, but you've mastered it. We'll see. We're still at the early stages of this expedition.
We're halfway through.
This is a next level
I am
build,
going
though.
crazy. The dough rose. We fried them. It's smelling real good in here.
Right? Yeah. Nice, fresh cooked donut smell. It's a deep fryer, fatty dough, super good. It's been 16 hours, ready to eat.
But we are approaching the finish line. All we have to do is make the frosting, fill the donuts with the custard in the fridge, and then it's party time.
I think we're close though, right? There's no more long waiting steps anymore.
Right. From here on out, it's like a sprint to the finish.
All right, let's do it.
So we're gonna make our chocolate glaze. It's just powdered sugar, cocoa powder, salt, some vanilla, and some milk. And as Brett knows, by making a glaze, you want to use less liquid than you think you need, because you can always add more. But somehow with powdered sugar, it just eats it up.
Every time I make my apple fritters, I make this powdered sugar glaze on top with cinnamon, and I just always add too much water, and it's impossible to save it. You can't. There's no amount of powdered sugar you can add to it to save it once it's way too wet.
Which, have we made you guys our apple fritters?
No, but they're 9 out of 10.
All right.
You look a little light on the liquid.
Now we're getting there. We have to wait a little bit longer to let our main donuts cool.
Come on.
But in the meantime...
Ooh, those turn out great. Look at that. Well, they're still steaming hot, but...
Oh, well, who doesn't love a good hot donut, though?
All right, well, give it up.
Give it up, he says.
I've been waiting all day for this.
Wow, but like, look at that pull apart. Like, this is gluten-free, y'all.
Yeah, look how spongy this is.
This is insane. All right, if I said we were in the home stretch before, I really mean it now.
Well, there's some proof that we actually made some food after all the things we've done today.
And I know they look a little roasty toasty, but they taste good.
Yeah, way, way too hot of oil. Thanks.
I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this, so I think we just puncture.
Yeah. So these didn't puff up
Cavity.
as much as I thought they were going to. They're still a little flat, but we're going to puff them up with the custard. I think that had to do with our particular yeast. I don't think it was as bubbly as it said it was going to be.
I was also modifying the recipe, and I feel like whenever you take a full batch and you trim it back to like a third of a batch, sometimes things don't translate perfectly. So potentially I just didn't do enough yeast.
All right, so all of this goes in like one donut, right?
No.
We're going to see how this goes.
So we shoved some custard in there.
Right? Yeah, not the prettiest job we've ever had, but, you know, they look like little faces with tongues sticking out at this point.
So now...
Just get it in a nice glob and then I'll move it around. So normally you would dip these in the chocolate bowl and just spin them around, really get the top coated, but this is the very last of our sugar in the house, so we're playing it a little bit conservative and don't have any chocolate to waste. But it turned out really good. Don't forget, we still have our donut holes.
I was going to say, I'm leaving enough for us
I
to
need some
dip our
chocolate.
donut holes.
Finally have some real food and it's done and I get to eat it. How much?
Holy crap.
How much longer are you going to make me wait here?
No longer. Let's just...
It is now after dinner, and we started this, I think, before
At
lunch.
breakfast, yeah. So I'm super pumped. I haven't had one of these in 5 years because you can't find custard-filled, gluten-free, chocolate-covered donuts anywhere. So without further ado...
Wow. Okay, it was super worth it.
Oh my God.
Sometimes we really mess up food pretty bad. Everything about this is delicious. Look at this custard just hanging off the side. Look at that. Oh my God, it's going to fall. Oh, that's so cute. Look at that. It's got a little hat on now.
This is so good. This is the best gluten-free donut I've had. And I've had a lot of gluten-free donuts. It's like super chewy. It's not dry. Like half the gluten-free donuts I get are dry rocks.
Right.
The custard in it is incredible.
The chocolate really covered up that burnt flavor that our like donut hole really was a victim of.
Yeah.
So I don't taste that at all anymore. It just is like super soft. Somehow we got some amount of the custard on the inside. I'm very impressed by, with a weak plastic bag and no tip. But this tastes better than most regular donuts you would have. A lot of donuts are like really dry. This is super like moist, bouncy, chewy, really good. I would never in a million years think this is a gluten-free donut ever.
No, and I would make this again, even though it's a labor of love. If somebody makes you donuts that are filled, that have icing, just know that they love you so much. Because holy cow, we have been in the kitchen all day. But that's why you can eat anything you want so long as you make it yourself.
That's right.
I don't have much more to say. I just want to go eat the rest of my donut.
And truthfully, if you were gonna, I mean, we only made like, we were shooting for 4. We ended up with 6 smaller ones just because
That
our-
was the cup we had.
our cutter wasn't a big enough rim. That was the biggest cup rim we had. So we ended up with 6 donuts. No big deal. If you were gonna make like, let's say 2-3 dozen and snack on them for the afternoon, it'd be super worth it because you'd have so much more than what we were shooting for here. But we were like, we're gonna be good. We're not gonna be pigs with the dessert. And we're totally really low on sugar. And that wasn't the reason that we only made like 6 donuts.
But it might have been
But
the
it might have
reason.
been the reason.
We're also really low on cocoa powder. We really need help from the baking gods.
Times are tough. Send help. So that's all we're gonna say. We're gonna eat these donuts. We're getting out of here. like and subscribe. There's other things over here and this card over here for things that we've recorded videos on before. And, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.